Hello everybody, I hope you are having a fantastic day today. I'm going to tell you a story. It's about the most traumatizing thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. It is Women's Month and I wanted to share my experience with you all. I am sure there are some women, some girls out there who are probably experiencing something similar to what I had already experienced. It's not necessarily the traumatizing event, it's what happened after that kind of triggered the events that followed after. And I know that there are people out there who could definitely learn something from my experience. I'm sure I'm over it now. It's been nearly 2 years. All of this kind of happened. So this is September of 2013. I got a new job, so I was very excited. I needed to get my stuff together. So I do my laundry. I had the specific outfit planned in mind and needed to clean these clothes. On this particular day it was storming, so I had no way of actually getting my clothes dry as fast as I would have liked. I overslept that day as well, and I had quite a lot of plans for the day. So okay, get one of those portable little washing lines and I hang it in a part of the house, in a room that nobody really uses. So I set all of my stuff up there and I'm thinking, how can I speed up the heating, like how can I speed up my clothing, the drying process? And I grabbed this gas heater. I'm sure you can see where this is going. My clothing is soaking wet. I noticed a big puddle on the floor from the water coming from my clothing. I'm like, this was not part of my plan. Really all that knowledgeable on gas heaters and it being faulty. I mean, you can kind of clearly see where my logic was by leaving a flame near clothing. That's kind of where I was. I didn't even see that as being a problem or an issue, or thinking that anything could go wrong. So gas heater, a gas cylinder leaking isn't in my range of thought at all. So look at the gas heater's not on. I'm like, of course it's not working, of course it's not on, that was kind of my train of thought then. Super negative. Wow. I go to the gas cylinder to check to switch it back on or something, and the gas cylinder was completely frosty. And I go, okay, why is it frosty? The gas was leaking and I didn't know that it was. What I was doing, I switch on, I push it the third time and everything went up in flames. I was covered in all this black stuff. It was ash and I'm like, where's this? I'm wiping my face and everything is just black. What it was my eyelashes had burnt off. My hair had burnt. After something traumatizing happens to you, how I see it is you have this aura around you. An aura, a smell about you, a look about you, a smell about you. There's just something about you that sets you apart from everybody else. So what happened with me is strange things started happening to me after the accident. What happened to me afterwards was strange men would start following me. And I don't mean, oh, they would just follow me to follow me. No one does that. Follow me to a point of wanting to do something to me. So the first time someone followed me was when I was working late and was finished at 9:30, and my ride hasn't called me to say that they're ready to pick me up or anything. So I call and I'm like, oh, hello, where are you? Oh, they said they were running late, they were doing something or other and they would be, you know, just like 5 or 10 minutes or so late. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm standing outside, and you know when someone's staring at you so much that you can feel it and you instantly turn to their direction? That's what I was getting. I remember it perfectly. I'm standing outside and I'm turned to see who's staring at me, and from a distance I remember I was standing facing this exact direction, and I turned this way, and there's this guy, there's people kind of walking around, and this one guy standing right by himself across the way from me, and he's just staring at me. And I regret turning to look at him, because I think me making that eye contact with him kind of gave him the signal of okay, but it wasn't okay. So I turn and I look at him and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is staring at me. And I'm like, Tanya, maybe it's just in your head, maybe you're just imagining this. It could have just been one of those things where you turn and you happen to look at each other at the same time. So I took a deep breath in, inhaled, exhaled, and then I turned to see if he was looking at me again. And at this point he was just staring at me, and he then proceeded to walk towards me. And instantly I knew right then and there that this guy isn't coming to ask me for directions at 9 o'clock at night. He isn't with anybody, there's no friends, there's no family, he's there by himself. This tall, old Caucasian male. And I go stiff and I make a beeline going into the mall. Now remember that the mall is closed, so there's not a lot of people walking around. So I'm like, oh my god, this guy is coming towards me. I want to ask someone for help, but I didn't. I don't know why I didn't ask for help from anybody. I didn't go, oh hey, sorry, I think this guy's busy following me. Is it okay if I just stand here with you guys for a second? Not even. I went into instant panic mode and walked into the mall, and I took a quick corner. I kind of just stood there. I don't know why I stood there. I don't know why I did what I did at that time. I turn and I head back towards the exit again, walking back again, and he's walking in the mall. He makes eye contact with me and he walks straight towards me, and I kind of run past him in a way, and then I don't know, I kind of hid in this crowd of people. I then managed to get out of his eye line and run, and I get to this even quieter part of the mall. I then call anybody and I'm like, oh my god, this man's busy following me. Who did I call? I called my mom. This man's following me, what do I do? She's like, go to this one part of the mall, there's a grocery store, you run down there and you stay there. I'm like, oh thank god, there is a place that's open. She says, I'm coming, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Run down to the grocery store and I just stand there and I'm traumatized. I don't know how I managed to run away from him. I don't know, I don't remember that. Like I said, this all happened last year, so not last year, 2013, so memory not so great. It happened to me again. So second time, I'm finishing work 9:30, late shift again, fantastic. And I decided, after that incident, I made sure that every route I took was different. So you have to walk anywhere where you need to go. So I decided, okay Tanya, it is a beautiful day, why don't you take the scenic route? I wanted to see the beautiful boats by the port, the harbor. I wanted to have a look at the view there. So I walked towards the exit, and there's a man walking in front of me. He looked like he had bought a 6-pack of beers. I remember what was in his plastic bag, and it's a tall black man this time. So tall African male. So he's walking in front of me, 6-pack of beers in his hand. At this point, I left that incident as that incident. So he's walking in front of me, we're heading in the same direction. As I'm walking, he kind of walks to the side and he stands there, So I'm like, oh, maybe he's also taking in the sights, you know, the boats and all that. So I continue walking until when I walked past him, he then started walking behind me, almost waiting for me. He was waiting for me to walk past him so he could follow me. So I'm walking and I check behind me to see if he maybe walked off in another direction, because that harbor, the port, whatever it's called, is quite long. And if you take one way, you end up at a hotel. You take another way, you end up at the front entrance of the main entrance at the mall, where the pubs and bars and stuff are. So I continue walking and I, you know, kind of just turn to look behind me, and I'm like, oh my god, he's walking behind me. But he's walking in a way that wouldn't panic me. Like, you could just be walking, but not close, but not too far away either. I call my mom again and I'm like, oh, where are you? Like, just trying to make a normal conversation. And I spoke really loud so he could hear that someone was coming to meet me and I wasn't going to be alone. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna leave it as is. So as I'm walking, I'm heading more towards the touristy area where it's quite busy, and I, you know, walk through the crowds and I feel a lot safer. That walk from where I was to I don't know what you call it, the big wheel is pretty long. It felt extremely long to me, and it was very, very quiet. It's quite busy in the evenings, but this particular night there was no one. So I get to the busy part of that area and I just, you know, breathe a sigh of relief. Witnesses. So I thought it was witnesses. I'm not alone here. So I walk past the main, the two bars. One is called Mitchell's and one is called something else. I walk past Mitchell's, and when you walk straight ahead, you get to this pedestrian walkway where most cabs are, and people get dropped and picked up, and you walk across the pedestrian walkway and there's parking areas kind of ahead of you. So I walk towards the pedestrian crossway and I just stand there because my ride's gonna come pick me up there, so I don't need to walk across the street. So I'm like, okay, you're good. It looks like it was all in your head. T, you're good. Stop being so paranoid. Just because it happened to you that one time, it's fine. It's all in your head. There was until he walked past me. So as he walked past, I'm like, that's the guy, that's the guy, that's the guy. He walks past me, he walks across the pedestrian walkway, and I go, okay, officially, it was all in your head. I'm like, okay, cool. But then I still follow him with my eyes. He walks across the pedestrian walkway, he walks across the street, he stops. He turns and he stares at me, and he just stood there looking at me, and my gut suddenly felt heavy, and I knew in that instant what he was going to do to me, or what he was going to do if he got his hands on me. You never know who's following you, you never know who's watching you, so I was more vigilant at that point in time. I equipped myself as well, because if you're gonna take me down or try to take me down, I'm not going down without a fight, you bet your sweet ass. So I got a pepper spray, a handheld stun gun. So I got this afterwards as well. After the last dude, I knew I'm not going down. I wanted one with little spiky bits on it so I could just like jab it in your eye. So I keep this with me. So everywhere I went, if I would go home, I kind of pretend like this is kind of like a cell phone and just keep it in my hands. I didn't buy these things in hopes that someone would come and attack me. By no means. This is the major point of the story, is people can smell fear. If you say no to anyone, mean it. Change your attitude. So if you wake up one day and you're in a really bad mood, change it to a happy one. I've learned to appreciate everything in my life, to be grateful for everything in my life as well. And that's the end of that harrowing tale. This is the final chapter. The final time I'm talking about this. I really want to put this story to bed. I thought about it recently and I wanted to do a video because I'm sure there's someone that can relate and someone that it would help someone. Yeah, that's it.